Welcome back, friends. I'm excited for today. Today we're gonna be making cinnamon rolls. I love these cinnamon rolls so much. I could eat them every single day. And now is the perfect time to make them. It's cold outside, we're warm inside. These are soft and warm and delicious and cinnamony, and they're so good. I used to think that making cinnamon rolls from scratch would be hard. I don't know why I thought that. They just look, maybe they just look so good that it seems like they should be difficult. But then I realized that they're pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. So before we go make these, just as a reminder to our younger friends, please make sure you have a parent or guardian around to help you out while you were in the kitchen. Every day, please be safe. Watch out not to burn yourself on the oven, and let's go make some cinnamon rolls. Okay, so we have all of our ingredients for our dough lined up. We have a cup of warm milk, a third of a cup of melted butter that is warm, but it's not hot. We have a teaspoon of salt. We have 2 eggs, 2.5 teaspoons of instant yeast, half a cup of white sugar, and then 4.5 cups of flour. I have them separated. I have 4 cups in this big container, and then I have the half cup in this small container because we will be adding this in after the rest of the flour. So it is all divided, so we're gonna start by putting in our milk. Now, our milk is about 110 degrees. You don't really want it to go above 115 because it will kill the yeast. So we're just gonna start by pouring this into our big mixing bowl, and then I'm going to sprinkle the yeast on top. So that will get that yeast blooming. Now, this is instant yeast, so it does not need to really activate. We can just start adding other things in. Now we're gonna add in our melted butter, and then we're going to throw in our eggs, our salt, and our sugar. And now we're going to whisk this until it is pretty much homogeneous, pretty much mixed together. Okay, so that is mixed together. It doesn't have to be super well combined. I just like to get it going a little bit so that when we add our flour, it doesn't take any extra mixing. So now I'm going to pop this onto our stand mixer. Now, just as a note, I am using a stand mixer today, but if you don't have one, that's totally okay. This really, the only thing this does is it cuts down on the effort that it takes because you don't have to knead by hand. And it takes a little bit less time because kneading by hand just takes a little bit longer. So if you don't have a stand mixer, that's totally okay. You can do this, with a whisk and a spatula and by hand, and that's totally fine. I'm going to add on our paddle attachment, and now we're going to add in the 4 cups of flour to our wet ingredients. Okay, so our flour is all added in. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of an overhead view so you can see what it looks like. So we're going to let this mix together for a minute or two, just until the flour becomes fully combined with the other ingredients. And then we're going to, while it's still sticky, we're gonna let it rest for a few minutes, and then we will keep mixing and we will add in the rest of the flour. So I'll give you guys a little overhead view of that, and then we will come back.
Okay, so I am just letting the ingredients stir together on a low speed, and then once the flour is fully combined like this, then you can let it rest for about 5 minutes. Now we can add in our extra half cup of flour and start kneading the dough. It'll take 5 to 10 minutes depending on if you're doing it by hand or with a mixer like I am, but it will pick up all of that extra flour in the bowl and it will turn into this beautiful stretchy dough that is smooth and ready to rise.
Our dough has kneaded for about 5.5 minutes. It has come together nicely. It is still tacky, which is good, but it is smooth, it's elastic, it's exactly where we want it to be. So I'm just gonna take the dough hook out. I have this big bowl. We're gonna put it in here. I have it lightly greased. We're just gonna put it in there to rise because we want this to double, just about double in size, not too long. About 30 minutes. Okay, our cinnamon roll dough is in its lightly greased bowl, ready to rest for about 30 minutes. So you can see how big it is. It will just about double in size. You don't want to let it rest for more than 30 minutes because you don't want it to be too airy, but that should just about do it. So we're going to let this take a nap, and I'll see you in 30 minutes. While our dough is rising, we are gonna make our filling. So I have 10 tablespoons of unsalted butter that I have. They're half melted, half soft. They don't have to be fully melted, but we just want them to be super soft. Then we're gonna put in our 1 1/4 cups of packed dark brown sugar. You can use light brown sugar if you would like, or if you cannot find dark, but dark has like a deeper flavor. And then 1 1/2 tablespoons of our ground cinnamon. So we're just gonna whisk this together, and it should come together pretty nicely, and it will make our filling. Okay, our dough has risen and it is ready to be rolled out into a rectangle. I have some flour here. We're going to flour our counter and roll it out on here because we want it to be about 26 inches by like 14, 15 inches. It doesn't have to be exact. That's the general measurements. So we're going to put our flour up high and we're going to get our counter nice and ready for our dough. And then we're going to roll it out. Okay, so we're just gonna sprinkle some flour on top, and then we're going to get a little on our hands and on our rolling pin, and then we're just gonna start rolling it out. I like to kind of start by getting it about the width that I like, and then we roll out the length. It might seem that it's not going to get to be the size that you want, but it will. It just takes a little bit of stretching and rolling, and it will 100% roll out all the way. Okay, our dough is all rolled out into a rectangle. I did check just for fun, and this is right at 26 inches, and this is right at like 17.5, which is a great size, perfect for the amount of filling that we have. So now that we are all rolled out into this beautiful little rectangle, we are going to spread our cinnamon filling onto our dough.
I like to divide my filling out onto the dough to make it a little bit easier to spread, and then I just get a spatula and I start spreading. It'll take a couple of minutes to get it spread completely onto the dough. I try to get it as close to the edges as possible, and then it will look like this.
Our cinnamon filling is all spread out onto our dough, and now we're just going to roll it up. We're gonna do a jelly roll style, which we're just gonna roll it. So we're gonna start on the long side, and we're just going to kind of nudge it up with your fingers a little bit. Just make sure it's not sticking to the counter. And then we're just gonna start making a little fold here, just to get it going. And then we're just gonna roll it up. Okay, so now that it is all rolled up, we're gonna start making some cuts. So I have a serrated knife here. Please be careful as you cut. I'm just gonna try to make a cut in the middle because we really wanna try to get these rolls to be as even as possible. So I'm just gonna start by making a cut in the middle, and then I'll turn this one around. Pretty close to the same length. So now we're gonna try to get 12 rolls out of this. We're gonna try to make them even. It's okay if they're not. It's not about perfection. We just want them to bake evenly, so just try to get them close. Okay, so our rolls are cut out. We are just going to put them in this 9 by 13 size pan. Now, some of them are going to be a tiny bit thicker than others, but all in all, they're roughly the same size, so this means they will bake more evenly. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let them rest one more time for about 20 minutes. So it'll be great if they double in size, but they're just gonna rise a little bit more, and this will get them settled so that when they bake, they will bake very nicely. Since we have extra rolls, we are gonna make some little mini rolls to go on the side. So while those rise, we are going to cut these up. I'll put them in another little pan, and then we'll have some extra rolls. Alrighty, our rolls are risen. They are ready to go into the oven. Our rolls, we can see, have puffed out a little bit. Same for our little pan of mini rolls here. Now, as they bake, they will fill up the rest of the space. But before they go into the oven, we are going to pour, I have some warmed heavy cream, and we're gonna pour this over the top. Now, I know what you're thinking, Nicole, what's with the pour over thing? Like, what isn't it gonna make, this is liquid, isn't it gonna make this like soggy? No, it's gonna make them really good. What's gonna happen is the cream is gonna soak up into the rolls and make them really soft, and they'll still have some chewiness in there. It's gonna mix them with the filling. It's gonna make it so smooth and good and keep that moisture in. And whatever you use, you could use half and half. You can use whole milk if you have to. If you don't use dairy, you can use coconut cream. That would work very well with this. Whatever you use, it just needs to have a high fat content. So 2% milk, almond milk, that would not do so well with this. That would kind of kill it. So we're just going to start pouring this over the top, and we're gonna use about, I have 2/3 of a cup here. We're gonna use about half a cup for our big pan, and then the remainder for our little pan. They're gonna go into the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 19 to 23 minutes. Our smaller pan is gonna come out right around 13 to 14 minutes. They will, again, fill out this space. They'll soak up this cream. They'll get nice and golden brown. They will be done once the centers are fully cooked through. And so we will see you when they are all done. While our rolls are in the oven, we are gonna make our frosting. So I have 1 stick or half a cup of unsalted butter that is softened, 8 ounces of cream cheese that is still cold, 2 cups of powdered sugar, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. I'm gonna give you guys a little view while I mix this all together, and then you will see how it turns out.
Okay, so now we're just adding in our butter and the cream cheese, and we're gonna blend this together. We're gonna beat this together for just a few seconds until it's fully combined, and then we're gonna gradually add in the powdered sugar. We're doing this gradually because we want it to be smooth and we want it to be well incorporated. So we're gonna do this in stages. And then after a couple of minutes of that, we're gonna add in our vanilla and beat it together until it is light and fluffy. And then our cream cheese frosting will look like this.
All right, kids, today we are gonna make us some sweet rolls. It's one of my favorites. Cinnamon, yes. What? Oh man, you already made them? Yeah. Oh, look how good they look. Ooh, what if they just slid off? They look delicious.
Well, you're just in time because now we can put the frosting on there.
All right.
Would you like your little spatula?
Yes. All right. So I just take it and then I...
No.
Oh, all right. Can't wait to eat these. I like to smush it in
Would you
all
like to spread
of the
mine?
edges. Yes. No edge
cinnamon
left
on there.
behind. We have to have it on the edges. It's beautiful. Oh.
Let's
Okay.
eat this.
This is okay. This tastes like something you'd get at a professional bakery.
Oh, this is so good. Thank you.
So good.
I appreciate that.
Very good. Well done. So good. Yes, 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 yes.
That's all from me today, friends. I hope you guys had a fun time baking with me. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I would love to see how your cinnamon rolls turned out, so please tag or DM us. If you have any questions or requests, please contact us. All of our social media information and contact info is in the description below. We would love to hear from you. Come back soon to Kids Cook Island. We have a lot of cooking and baking left to do.